Welcome back to Reality Exposed, the channel where we uncover the raw, unfiltered truth behind your favorite TV stars. Today, we're diving into one of the most gut-wrenching sagas in 90-Day Fiancé history. The strong, no-nonsense Moldovan hottie who won people over and ignited countless arguments was Andrei Castravet. Behind the scenes, however, his life has devolved into a nightmare of heartache, treachery, and financial disaster. After losing $75,000 in his business, Andrei Castravet suffered a major setback. But that wasn't the end. Shocking revelations soon emerged. According to confidential sources, Andrei Castravet became entangled in nearly $400,000 of debt through online gambling platforms. The incident did not end there. Andrei Castravet secretly took another loan of $100,000 and invested it again in the stock market. But unfortunately, that investment also brought no profit. He lost the entire amount. As he failed to repay the debt, a lawsuit was filed against him, and he was subsequently arrested. With this truth exposed, the situation turned even more tragic. During this financial crisis, his wife Elizabeth became overwhelmed and ultimately decided to leave him. Elizabeth went public with her secret relationship with Michael and divorced Andrei. Eventually, she chose to marry her secret boyfriend Michael to begin a new life. Elizabeth has been secretly in a romantic relationship with Michael for the past 1 year. I will explain everything. To understand Andrei's downfall, we have to go back to where it all started. Andrei Castravet was born in 1986 in Chisinau, Moldova, a city shaped by post-Soviet grit. Growing up, he worked as a nightclub bouncer, building the tough persona that later defined him on TV. In 2017, fate brought him to Elizabeth Puthast, a lovely 27-year-old from Tampa, Florida. They met on a dating app while she was visiting Dublin, Ireland. Their first date, a romantic walk through the city, sparked instant chemistry. Elizabeth recalled, "He was so confident, so different. It felt like fate." Andrei proposed during that trip, and by December 2017, they married in a culture-blending wedding after his K-1 visa brought him to the US. Fans watched their journey on 90-Day Fiancé, happily ever after, from family drama with the Puthasts to the births of their daughter Eleanor and son Winston. Andrei's fiery clashes with Elizabeth's family made him both loved and hated. Behind the scenes, he worked hard to prove himself, securing his green card in 2023 and launching Castravet Inc., a real estate venture supported by Elizabeth's father Chuck. By 2024, their life looked picture perfect. Luxury vacations, booming business, and declarations of forever love. But beneath it all, Andrei wrestled with pressure, immigrant struggles, the weight of being provider, and the need to prove his independence. Those insecurities would soon push him toward risky choices. Let's dive deeper into their early years. Andrei arrived in Tampa with big dreams, but little cash. He worked odd jobs, trucking, handyman gigs, while Elizabeth supported them through her acting aspirations and family ties. Their first big fight on camera? Over money. Andrei wanted to be the provider, but reality hit hard. "I don't want your dad's money," he'd snap. Yet, they leaned on Chuck's real estate empire, flipping houses and building equity. By season 8 of Happily Ever After, Andrei seemed to be thriving. He passed his real estate exam, the couple bought a home in Tampa, and fans speculated their net worth reached $1 million from TV and investments. Elizabeth gushed online, calling him my rock, my everything. Yet cracks showed. Andrei's temper fled more often, and during one tense family argument about money, he stormed out saying, "I'm done with this drama." In hindsight, it was a warning sign. By 2025, Andrei began pushing for a move to Moldova, calling it a fresh start. Elizabeth resisted, worried about the kids' schooling and her career. But behind the cameras, Andrei confided in crew members about mounting financial stress. "America's too expensive. I need to reset," he admitted. That reset quickly turned into disaster. Early in 2025, he secretly invested $75,000 in a Moldovan property deal, pitching it to Elizabeth as a safety net for their potential relocation. He even dipped into joint savings and borrowed from Chuck without telling her everything. The investment, a rundown apartment block in Chisinau, was sold to him by old contacts promising big returns. In March 2025, Andrei traveled to Moldova alone, posting cryptic Instagram updates like building the future, while Elizabeth stayed behind, trusting his judgment. But then, disaster struck. The contractors, tied to a Russian firm, vanished amid geopolitical tensions. War disruptions halted supplies, and Andrei discovered the deal was a scam. No legal recourse in Moldova's bureaucratic system. He lost every penny. Sources say he hid the full extent for months, telling Elizabeth it was just a delay. In a confessional from the show, Elizabeth admitted, "I feel betrayed. He didn't tell me how bad it was." Fans erupted online. Reddit threads like Andrei's Moldova mess speculated gambling or embezzlement. One user wrote, "He's always shady with money. Remember the family business fights?" Andrei downplayed it publicly. "Business has risks. We'll bounce back." But privately, the loss crushed him. Bills piled up. Mortgage, kids' expenses, TV appearance fees drying up as their storyline grew stale. Andrei's pride wouldn't let him ask for help. Instead, he turned to a darker escape, online gambling. What started as harmless fun to recoup losses became an addiction that buried him in nearly $400,000 of debt. Let's paint the picture of how this happened. Andrei, stressed and isolated, downloaded apps like Bet9 and DraftKings late at night. At first, it was sports bets, Moldovan soccer, NFL games, small stakes to feel in control. After the $75,000 hit, he chased wins. A source from his inner circle, speaking anonymously, said, Andrei would stay up till dawn, betting on anything. Poker, slots, even virtual horse races. He thought he was smart, but the house always wins. By mid-2025, losses mounted. $10,000 here, $50,000 there. He maxed credit cards, took high-interest loans from shady online lenders. Elizabeth noticed odd behaviors, secret phone calls, mood swings, but Andrei blamed work stress. In June, a big loss on a UFC fight pushed him over $200,000 in the red. Desperate, he doubled down, borrowing from gambling sites with predatory terms. Total debt? Nearly $400,000, per confidential bank statements reviewed by investigators. The addiction wasn't just financial, it eroded his marriage. Elizabeth confided in friends, he's distant, always on his phone. Fans caught hints in social media. Fewer couple posts, Andrei's solo trips. But the real bomb dropped when creditors came knocking. Online gambling is a silent killer, and for Andrei, it was no different. Platforms like those he used promise easy wins, but hook users with algorithms designed to lose. Andrei's bets escalated from hundreds to thousands per session. A former gambling counselor, who treated similar cases, told us, stars like Andrei feel invincible from TV fame. But addiction doesn't care about status. By July 2025, lenders demanded repayment. Andrei ignored notices, hoping for a miracle win. That's when the lawsuits hit. First, a $150,000 suit from an offshore platform for unpaid loans plus interest. Then, another for $250,000 from a US-based creditor, alleging fraud for using fake info to open accounts. Court filings, obtained through public records, show Andrei's name listed in Tampa filings. Defendant failed to honor contractual obligations, one read. The arrest came swiftly. On August 5, 2025, Tampa police detained Andrei at home for outstanding warrants tied to the debts, non-payment leading to civil contempt. Elizabeth watched in horror as officers cuffed him. Neighbors whispered, paparazzi snapped pics. Released on bail after 48 hours, Andrei faced humiliation. Headlines screamed, 90-day fiancé star busted in debt scandal. TLC distanced itself, pausing their spin-off talks. Sources say Andrei broke down in jail, calling Elizabeth, I'm sorry, baby, I'll fix this. But the damage was done. The truth exploded. Gambling addiction exposed by leaked app logs showing thousands of transactions. Fans were stunned. One tweeted, "Andrei, gambling? Makes sense with his risk-taking vibe." But for Elizabeth, it was the final straw. To fully grasp the spiral, consider the psychology. Andrei, an immigrant success story, felt emasculated by the business loss. Gambling gave him adrenaline, a quick fix like his bouncer days. But data from gambling watchdogs shows 90% of high-stakes players lose big. Andrei's case? Textbook. He hid statements, forged excuses. Elizabeth discovered a hidden laptop with betting history in late July. Confronting him tearfully, "How could you risk our family?" she cried. Andrei promised to quit, but trust was shattered. The lawsuits dragged on. Hearings in Florida courts revealed more. Andrei had gambled away kids' college funds. Elizabeth's family, already wary, cut ties. Chuck said in a rare statement, "I warned her." As debts mounted, Andrei's mental health plummeted, insomnia, arguments. The arrest was rock bottom, broadcast on local news. Released, he faced probation and mandatory counseling. But the real tragedy, it destroyed his marriage. Amid the chaos, Elizabeth reached her breaking point, overwhelmed by lies, debt collectors at the door, and Andrei's denial. She made the toughest choice, leaving. Sources confirm Elizabeth moved out in early August 2025, taking Ellie and Winston to her family's home. "I can't do this anymore," she told Andrei. He begged, but the damage was irreversible. Then the bombshell. Elizabeth went public with her secret relationship with Michael, a charming entrepreneur she'd met through mutual friends in Tampa's social scene. They'd been romantically involved for the past year, starting innocently as support during Andrei's absences. Michael, 35, owns a tech startup offering stability Andrei lacked. "He's kind, honest, everything I needed," Elizabeth later shared on Instagram. The affair began subtly in mid-2024. Andrei's long Moldova trips left Elizabeth lonely. Michael, a divorcee himself, bonded with her over shared interests, fitness, travel. Texts turned flirty, meetings secretive. A confidant revealed, Elizabeth felt guilty but trapped. Michael was her escape. When Andrei's scandals hit, she chose honesty. Divorce papers were filed August 10, 2025, citing irreconcilable differences and financial betrayal. Custody battles loomed, but Elizabeth prioritized kids' well-being. Andrei fought at first, but debts forced concessions. By late August, it was finalized. Elizabeth married Michael in a quiet ceremony September 15, 2025. Vows exchanged on a Florida beach, kids in tow. Photos showed her radiant, caption, "New chapter, full heart." Fans were divided. Some slammed Elizabeth, cheater. Others empathized. Andrei drove her away. Michael, low-key, supports her reality TV return. As for Andrei, he's rebuilding in Moldova, attending AA-style meetings, vowing change. But the scar remains. This divorce wasn't sudden. It brewed for years. Elizabeth endured Andrei's control, family wars. The gambling was the tipping point. Michael's entry, a lifeline. He's described as grounded, family-oriented. Their year-long secret involved discreet dates, coffee runs, park walks, avoiding paparazzi. Post-divorce, they blended families seamlessly. Elizabeth's posts now radiate joy. "Found my peace." Andrei sighed, heartbroken but reflective. In a rare interview, he admitted, "I messed up. Wish her well." He's focusing on sobriety, real estate in Moldova. But debts linger. Garnished wages, asset sales. TLC dropped him. Fans speculate a redemption arc. Today, August 23, 2025, Andrei lives quietly in Chisinau, co-parenting via video calls. He's paid off $100,000 in debt through side gigs, but $300,000 remains. Elizabeth thrives in Tampa, pitching a new show, Life After 90 Days. Michael? Her rock, helping navigate fame. The incident did not end there. Andrei Castravet, secretly took another loan of $100,000 and invested it again in the stock market. But unfortunately, that investment also brought no profit. He lost the entire amount. This $75,000 loss was a massive setback. It wiped out a chunk of their savings, strained their marriage, and reignited family wars. The loss highlighted Andrei's pattern of risky decisions. Earlier, his truck driving flop wasted Chuck's investment. Then, pushing for $100,000 from Chuck for real estate competition added tension. As one article notes, another recent investment of nearly $100,000 also went to waste, further highlighting Andrei's pattern of risky financial choices. This setback forced Andrei to confront his hubris. He thought he was a savvy businessman, but reality hit hard. How did it affect their life? Libby questioned their future. "That is not the man that I married. That is not what I signed up for." The family considered fleeing to Moldova permanently for cheaper living, but the loss made that risky. Andrei spun it as a learning experience, but fans saw red flags, hidden debts, lies, and overconfidence. But wait, folks, that $75,000 business flop wasn't the end. Shocking revelations soon emerged, painting Andrei in an even darker light. According to sources close to the couple and recent reports, Andrei, desperate to recover from the Moldova mess, secretly took out a loan without telling Libby. The amount? A hopping $100,000. Instead of safe investments or paying off debts, he dove headfirst into the stock market, betting big on volatile stocks. Why the secrecy? Andrei reportedly felt emasculated by the previous loss and wanted to prove his worth as a provider. He borrowed from a private lender, possibly through connections in Moldova or online platforms, avoiding banks to keep it off the books. Then, he invested the full $100,000 in high-risk stocks, think tech giants, crypto-related companies, and even some war-impacted European firms, hoping for a quick turnaround amid global market fluctuations. Unfortunately, it backfired spectacularly. The stock market in 2025 has been a wild ride. Inflation fears, geopolitical tensions from ongoing conflicts, and tech bubbles bursting. Andrei's portfolio tanked. Reports suggest he put heavy bets on companies like those in renewable energy and AI, but a market correction wiped out gains. One insider claimed he lost the entire amount in months, turning $100,000 into zero. This revelation came out during family discussions post-Moldova trip, with Libby discovering loan documents or bank alerts. The fallout was explosive. Libby, already hurt from the $75,000 lie, felt doubly betrayed. "There is absolutely no reason for us to stay here," she said in one episode, but this pushed her further. Chuck confronted Andrei, accusing him of endangering the family's future. Social media lit up. Twitter posts like "Andrei should know better than invest money internationally." That happens a lot where people have these construction companies take others' money then run. Fans speculated on hidden debts, even up to $500,000 as clickbait videos suggested. Why stocks? Andrei, influenced by online influencers and his entrepreneurial spirit, thought he could outsmart the market, but without expertise, it was gambling. This secret loan added interest burdens, potentially spiraling into more debt. It echoed his past, the failed truck, dissolved LLCs, and now this. As one report put it, Andrei's pattern of risky financial choices continued, with another $100,000 wasted. The revelations forced therapy sessions and tough talks. Andrei admitted fault, but blamed external factors like the war. Libby considered separation, but their kids kept them together. This chapter solidified Andrei's villain status, from charming immigrant to reckless risk-taker. The double whammy of losses, $75,000 in business and $100,000 in stocks, left Andrei and Libby in turmoil. Financially, they dipped into savings, relied on TV paychecks, and Chuck's support. Emotionally, trust eroded, leading to on-camera breakdowns. They paused the Moldova move, focusing on rebuilding in Florida. What do you think? Is Andrei a villain or just unlucky? Drop your thoughts in the comments. More update. Fans of 90 Day Fiancé are in shock. Elizabeth and Andrei have reportedly taken a break after their worst fight ever. On top of that, Andrei's investment scandal has raised even more questions. Are they still together, or is this the end? Meanwhile, on Happily Ever After, Andrei is slowly emerging as the villain, facing heavy criticism from viewers. And just when fans thought it couldn't get any more dramatic, Elizabeth and Andrei dropped a new announcement that stirred up even more buzz about the future of their relationship. I will explain everything. 90 Day Fiance. Elizabeth and Andrei are taking a break after their worst fight ever. A worst fight ever has brought 90 Day Fiance's Andrei and Elizabeth to their breaking point. Their most recent argument rocked their marriage to its foundation, and Libby may be questioning whether or not she made the correct choice in marrying Andrei. Libby may not know much about many things, but she does know that Andrei has changed since she married him. Now when she wants answers, her spouse can't provide them to her. Tell me the truth. Just what is going on here? Because what is the reason behind their conflict? This topic is pretty intense, so you should keep reading to find out more. A fresh angle on Andrei and Libby's romance has recently emerged on 90 Day Fiance. You can usually catch them yelling angrily at each other in front of their children. In a recent episode, Andrei nearly gave his wife the go-ahead to change her mood and take a shower. At this point, Libby became very emotional. Even though her husband had barking orders, she made it quite plain that she was going to take a shower because she wanted to. "All right, independent American woman," Andrei muttered, rolling his eyes. "Just do it. Go do it yourself," he urged. Libby called her husband ridiculous, since she thought the scenario was implausible. Andrei, star of 90 Day Fiance, has chosen to show Chuck and Libby his investment property, since he knows he can't keep the situation hidden any longer. But Chuck didn't believe a word of it and asked himself whether the land was real. When Andrei's business partners went missing and refused to come forward, his story took a turn for the worse. The time for truth has arrived. Libby was against the plan as well, and Chuck was worried the houses inside had been bombed. "The property will consume more money than they had invested in it," she attempted to explain. They had no idea that the material provider had actually taken all of the money, leaving Andrei with no choice. "It was a Russian corporation," Andrei said, and it hadn't responded to any of his emails since the conflict between Russia and Ukraine began. They did, in fact, steal from them. The money wasn't Libby's biggest worry, but the way Andrei lied to her made her furious. Elizabeth made it plain that she doesn't want to live if her husband acts like this during the worst fight of their marriage. Libby wasted no time getting Chuck back to the United States. Meanwhile, Andrei has expressed his pain and mentioned, "We'll take a break." He waited for his wife to calm down before returning with the rest of the family. He went on to say, "I'm letting her go and letting her be." Elizabeth and Andrei still together after his investment drama? Fans all over the world may still follow the life of one of the major couples from 90 Day Fiancé. Happily Ever After. Season 9, Elizabeth and Andrei Castravet. Since the 5th season of the main series, 90 Day Fiancé has featured Elizabeth and Andrei. With 90 Day Fiancé, can it get any happier? As they contemplate a possible relocation from the United States to Andrei's native Moldova in Season 9, the pair encounters major life changes. Due to the argument, Elizabeth and Andrei are at odds with each other. Plus, there's the investment property issue, which I'll get to in a little. I was wondering if Elizabeth and Andrei are still dating, considering that the TLC series shoots months in advance. In the 9th season of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, Viba FlixM details the couple's relationship status and current situation. Indeed, Andrei and Elizabeth are still in a relationship. Whatever happened on 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, didn't deter them from being committed to each other in real life. When viewers of 90 Day Fiancé found out that he had invested $75,000 in an investment property, they began to attack the couple's relationship. In a video she shared on August 11, Elizabeth confronted the haters. Elizabeth and Andrei were shown in the video together. A question about her feelings toward her numerous detractors was written by her over the video. Next question, please, was the caption that accompanied the photo. Elizabeth and Andrei seem to still be residing in Florida as of August 2025. A day in the life video that Elizabeth posted on August 15 verified that she and Andrei were living together. Elizabeth and Andrei went house hunting in Moldova on 90-day fiancé, happily ever after. Elizabeth is still on the fence about making the permanent relocation to Moldova. We are not relocating here at this time. I've made that very plain. We didn't make that decision as a married couple, Elizabeth stated in the program airing on August 10. Andrei insisted on staying in Moldova during the argument regarding the relocation. Andrei told Chuck that he had invested $75,000 in a property when Elizabeth's dad showed there. The news shocked Chuck. I was aware of it, but the specifics were unknown to me, Elizabeth said. According to Andrei, he is a silent partner. Chuck and the couple had an early success in their hunt for a place to stay in Moldova. I could totally picture us settling down in that kind of spot, Elizabeth remarked to Andrei. Nevertheless, the promo for the August 17th episode suggested that the couple will be facing further conflict. You deceived me. You hid that information from me, Elizabeth told Andrei, her voice betraying her anger. With an additional, she wants you to assure her that you have a solution. Chuck became involved. The fact that he lied is the thing that worries me the most, Elizabeth added. After this, I will no longer trust you. Elizabeth was spotted unexpectedly packing to depart Moldova in another sneak look. The poor investment was bad enough, but covering up his lies and deceit was like another level of betrayal, Elizabeth said. My husband is not like that, and I never agreed to that when I married him, she said. We are completely unnecessary to remain here, she informed Andrei, with or without you, as she and the kids were departing with their dad as soon as he entered the room. Andrei and Elizabeth initially connected through a dating app. Dublin, Ireland was the site of their first encounter. Both Elizabeth and Andrei were there on separate trips. The former had recently relocated for employment. They tied the knot in October 2017 after being engaged in the US. In order to accommodate Andrei's family, they decided to have a second wedding in Moldova. How Andrei Castravet is emerging as a villain on 90-Day Fiancé, happily ever after. Season 9 of 90-Day Fiancé will feature 8 couples, including Elizabeth and Andrei Castravet. Happily Ever After has featured Elizabeth and Andrei on multiple seasons, but this time around their narrative is different. Leaving Tampa behind, the couple is contemplating relocating their family to Andrei's native Moldova. Nevertheless, not everything has proceeded according to plan. Andrei has been building his evil persona since the season premiere. Several of Andrei's decisions this season have been contentious. Andrei has always been a little difficult, but he is really stepping into the villain role right now. The prospect of a relocation to Moldova has dominated Andrei and Elizabeth's narrative thus far. It was Andrei's confession that he felt the family would be better off after the transfer. A desire to be nearer to his family ranks high among his primary motivations. He reasoned that the relocation could be advantageous because he and Elizabeth have strained relations with several members of her family. Elizabeth is still on the fence about it, but she's given it some thought. Before making the decision to relocate to Moldova, Elizabeth has stated her intention to learn the fundamentals of a potential life there. She was eager to start the process of finding a place to reside and researching schools for their 2 children. On the other hand, Andrei is eager to get things done quickly. He went so far as to confess to Alexei Brovanik that he intended to issue an ultimatum to Elizabeth in the event that she declined to budge. It was Andrei's intention to inform Elizabeth that they would be relocating to Moldova together or splitting up. Andrei acted villainously because he completely disregarded Elizabeth's sentiments. The fact that Andrei lied to Elizabeth on his Moldovan investment property is another major gaffe from season 9. Andrei put $75,000 into a Moldovan home a few years ago. He intended to earn a profit by selling and reselling the property. The property, however, was never flipped because of the Russia-Ukraine war. Even worse, the business Andrei had invested with vanished without a trace and never paid him back. Andrei hid the truth from Elizabeth instead of telling her what had transpired. Actually, Andrei lied to Elizabeth until he took her to the property, which she discovered to be in terrible shape. Elizabeth chose to go Moldova early due to her intense anger over the news. Andrei had already informed Alexei and Jova Dufresne about his unsuccessful investment, which only made things worse. Elizabeth ought to have been among the first to find out, but she was really among the last. Andrei has had problems with Elizabeth, but he has also had issues with multiple other cast members thus far in Season 9. Andrei and Elizabeth were guests at Alexei and Lauren Brovanic's housewarming celebration during the premiere. Andrei and Lauren, along with Noga, Lauren's companion, got into a violent fight at the celebration. The fact that Lauren opposed the Moldova move made Andrei angry, and he was ready to defend it no matter what. Andrei lost his cool too fast, and things got out of hand, even though Lauren and Noga weren't exactly right either. Eventually, Andrei also got into a sticky situation with Chuck Pothast, Elizabeth's dad. In order to find a place for Andrei and Elizabeth to call home, Chuck had traveled to Moldova. Chuck was also interested in seeing the investment property while he was there. It was unprofessional of Andrei to tell Chuck the truth about the property at the same time as he told Elizabeth. It took a long time for Andrei and Chuck to become friendly, and now he's jeopardizing their newly formed bond. While Andrei keeps the audience engaged, he is undeniably one of the season's more malevolent characters. Stars Elizabeth and Andrei's announcement creates a stir. A misunderstanding during their recent trip to Moldova caused Elizabeth Pothast and Andrei Castravet to make an unexpected public declaration, which was a huge setback for their relationship. In a shocking scenario that occurred on the most recent episode of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, the couple, who have been married for 8 years and shared 2 children, found themselves at disagreement over their future plans. The conflict started when Andrei planned a lavish gathering in his own country, reminiscent of the extravagant wedding reception they shared many years ago, for friends and relatives. He spoke to the assembled Romanian speakers in what he took to be a collective choice over the fate of his family. Andrei told his family that he and Elizabeth were moving their children to Moldova permanently, as shown in a new preview video. The language barrier, however, rendered Elizabeth totally oblivious to her husband's statements to the group. Romanian is not yet my native tongue. This is one of those instances where my limited vocabulary gets in the way, as Elizabeth admitted in a confessional. Because I have no idea what's happening, I feel somewhat foolish. While Elizabeth tried to make sense of what had happened that night, Andrei shocked everyone with a spectacular fireworks display, further commemorating what he saw as their permanent move. This episode brings to light the couple's persistent communication problems, which have plagued their relationship since the beginning of the show. When crucial decisions need to be publicized or addressed, Elizabeth's limited Romanian comprehension gets in the way. I don't know what the expletive I'm doing here, honestly, Elizabeth said after appearing perplexed and shocked by Andrei's remark. Based on their response, it seems like the pair hadn't decided to settle down in Moldova. A number of viewers felt that Elizabeth's reactions to their Moldova experience, such as her gripes about having to share a single restaurant with 6 other people, were unrealistic and unreal. In general, many felt that her reaction to the trip was too staged, as if she were avoiding real, everyday issues in favor of performing for the cameras. The couple's decision-making process is flawed, as the misunderstanding shows. Her response suggests that they might have been talking about the vacation differently, even though Andrei seemed to think Elizabeth had consented to the permanent move. Lauren Brovanic and Yara Zaya, 2 friends of Elizabeth's, voiced their disapproval of the idea before they left for Moldova. Practical factors about the current world situation were among their worries, which went beyond personal preferences. Why would you move to Moldova? Yara said with an obvious hint of astonishment as they spoke. Elizabeth clarified that they hadn't rushed into the choice, emphasizing her desire to investigate what Moldova could provide for their family. Critics have cast doubt on the veracity of this plot, claiming the couple fabricated it to keep their spot on the show and raising questions about the sincerity of their plans for a long-term relocation. Elizabeth had shown receptivity to Andrei's proposal of establishing a future in his native land, despite the reservations of her friends. She spoke of her desire to research the country's possibilities and locate good schools for their kids. The Sun reports that the pair is presently property owners in Florida. In 2021, they paid $397,900 for land in Zephyrhills and constructed a 2-story home with 4 bedrooms and 4 baths. No more today. What are you thinking about this gossip today? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned by subscribing to our channel to get more updates like this. Thank you.